Do I have too much headroom?
You're good.
Denver Broncos Mile High View, no commercials, no bullshit. Coming off of that victory celebration. So we're the Broncos are slated to beat, without a question, the Philadelphia Eagles. That's they're going to go in. It's already done. They're going to go in 6-4. Everything that we told you that they were going to, we told you that they were going to be good. Just you didn't have any faith. You listened to those other guys that were all negative. So yeah, it's already a pre. Let me guess. That's kind of the gist of it. I could imagine the online platforms, after being so wrong, are doing anything that they're hanging on to. We told you. Am I right about that? I don't even pay attention to them, but am I right about that?
You're right about that.
They're so predictable. They are so predictable. So, you got some notes you took. Yeah, so I just wanted to say what I was hearing, that well, they're going to go in 6-4. Of course they're going to win, but let's see. I don't know if it's a shoe-in. I know Miami, they beat there's no way they could lose to the Ravens. That didn't really work out the Ravens' way. So I mean, the Broncos could come into this game thinking they're gonna, well, we don't have to work as hard now. We did our one game, and
that was our Super Bowl.
That was our Super Bowl. We gave you one. We threw you fans a bone. So I mean, sure, they could beat the Philadelphia Eagles, but they also could lose to them too.
Yep.
So yeah, I have to. By the way, I have to do this on my phone and not my laptop. So hopefully if it runs out of battery, I got it hooked up to the computer, so it should be getting plenty of juice for this. So go ahead and hit me with your take on. We're going into week 10, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, week 10.
Week 10, one game before the bye, and what do you see?
So what I see is I'm going to talk about the offense first before I go into the Eagles' defense. But offensively, they run a spread offense, a lot of read option with Jalen Hurts. They have a very, very good offensive line. I have it in the top five unit with Jason Kelsey and Lane Johnson, just to name a few guys on that offensive line. But they have some Andre Dillard, Havaitai, I think is still there. He might be with the Lions now, but there's another guy, a long name. I can't remember his name. But they have a very strong running game. They're very multi-dimensional in their play design. And I think that's going to confuse this Denver's defense on Sunday.
Now, I think one thing we have going for us, although I said something about Stearns, now what they want is Stearns to take over Callahan's slot, it seems like. But it seems to me our linebacking, due to injury, is actually an upgrade, and acquisition is an upgrade to Josie Jewell and Alexander Johnson.
I agree with that in terms of middle of the field play, but sideline to sideline play, I still think this team struggles with that in the linebacking core.
Yeah, so I was right a couple of weeks ago to say they're still slow in that.
Yeah, they're. I think it's more of instinctual than speed. I think Baron Browning has the ability to do sideline to sideline work. I just think that he needs to play more and get more integrated into this defense. But with this offense, with the Eagles, this is going to be something we haven't seen over the past 10 weeks. They are very multi-dimensional on their offense side of the ball. They run a lot of quick passes. They run a lot of stunt plays in terms of getting their receivers open. They have a good running back core in Jordan Howard, Kenneth Gainwell, and Boston Scott. I think Kenneth Gainwell is going to be a problem for us in the running game if they stick to the running game, but they are very multidimensional than what we saw last week with the Cowgirls.
What about throwing to their backs? Do they ever throw to them?
They throw to their backs quite a bit. Boston Scott and Kenneth Gainwell are mostly their receiving backs, and Jordan Howard is more of their ground and pound running back. He's the guy that gets the dirty yards. He gets the 3rd and 1s. He gets the 3rd and 2s, the 2nd and 5s. And their receiving core is very dangerous. They have a lot more speed on their side and then they have a lot more speed in their receiving core than we saw last week with the Cowgirls. Just to name a few guys, Devontae Smith, Jalen Rieger, and Watkins. Those guys get open a lot, and they are very creative in getting those guys open.
Yeah, sports talk radio and I'm sure online platforms that are like, we don't look so stupid now. I think they have discounted the fact that Philadelphia, no matter who they play, even though the record is such, they give every team they play fits. It just seems to be so they're, you could look at it as this is a team that could be looking for a bust out game.
I believe that they play very hard for their coach, Nick Sirianni. A lot of people were giving him crap for the hire. I like his offensive mind. I think he's a very creative offensive mind. A guy, he came over from Indianapolis, and Jalen Hurts. I want to talk about Jalen Hurts real quick because I think this is a different quarterback than what we've seen even with Lamar Jackson. This guy is very multi-dimensional in his play.
Hold on. So we'll go back to that in a second. Lamar Jackson with a bad back. Go ahead.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson with a bad back, but this Jalen Hurts is fully healthy, and I think that he's going to give this defense fits. I think that he has a very solid offensive line in front of him. I think a lot of people are not talking about this offensive line enough. I went back and watched the film yesterday or 2 days ago. My apologies, Thursday night. And what I saw from this Eagles offense is everything is predicated from that offensive line. If that offensive line breaks down, that whole offense will break down, just like with every other NFL team in the National Football League.
I don't know why we obsess over the offensive line. I don't.
Well, yes, and they also have a guy. They have 2 tight ends who I'm big fans of. Dallas Goedert, who they use properly, unlike Shermer with Noah Fant. We'll talk about Shermer not play calling in this game. That's been something I want to talk about, but I'll talk about that later. But Dallas Goedert, and they got a guy from Nebraska who's a very sound blocking tight end. He's more of your Eric Saubert type. He's a big physical tight end, and they run a lot of jet sweeps, read option, and they run a lot of shallow and out routes, but they're very creative in the sets that they do that. They run. You were bringing up something interesting about the Ohio State offensive coordinator. Nick Sirianni does a lot of what that Ohio State offense coordinator does. A lot of 5 sets, and very creative in the way he does that.
Well, they even Ohio used tight ends on occasion. They had multiple tight ends too, so that wasn't unusual for Fields.
Yeah,
Fields is another conversation for a different day.
Yeah,
but and it goes again to development, and in my opinion, the NFL seems to be. And I was kind of going a little off base here, but on what you were talking about. Colleges, there really needs to be a minor league for the NFL. To be honest with you, that even the college kids should take part in every now and then, like between semesters, to get used to that NFL. So it's the NFL's hamstrung because you're putting a product together based off of people that are older, are going to be around a while, where college is about, you got guys for 2 or 3 years and you're recycling. It's a different game, basically. I mean, might as well be playing rugby or something, but it's just the nature of the beast. And they got to all come and reinvent themselves, and it's just a mess. But so I got a question is, it seems the Broncos, if they have a lead, a substantial lead, which is rare, that's the only way they really can pull out a victory. If they're let me ask you this: for the Denver Broncos offense, what do you see for the Philadelphia Eagles? What would they take advantage of looking at our offense? What is it that the Eagles bring defensively to stop the Broncos?
Front 7.
Another front 7?
They have a guy named Fletcher Cox who I put up there with the likes of DeForest Buckner and Aaron Donald. I think he is a very underrated player. He's getting up there in age, but he still is able to command double teams, and he is still able to get that necessary push up the middle to help guys like Derek Barnett and Josh Sweat out. And Javon Hargrave is a very good number 2. So I believe their defensive line can cause fits for this Broncos offense this weekend.
Well, now here's another thing too, like the linebacking. It seems like the Broncos upgraded by getting rid of offensive linemen that have been dead weight for a long time. What's the status on Bowles? And I think Glasgow's out. I think he's done, isn't he?
Glasgow's done for the year. Reisner's out, and Garrett Bowles is out, and Bobby Massey's out.
Okay, so now we get to see what our offensive line could do without those guys.
Yes, and I'm not going to take anything away from Natane Moody and Quentin Miners, but they're going against seasoned veterans and Fletcher Cox and Javon Hargrave. And what we saw last week with the Dallas Cowboys defensive line is they're not a very good push up the middle unit. They're a very athletic unit, and I think with the Philadelphia Eagles defensive line, they're a very sound.
Like the Rams. Are they kind of like the Rams? Push up. Right?
Yeah, push up the middle, kind of like the Baltimore Ravens, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Well, what's with those two guys? They always say push up the middle. I don't understand that. We don't talk about push up the middle. What are they talking about? Push up the middle, One day maybe they'll get it. Maybe one day they'll figure it out.
Well, I don't have any faith that they'll get it through their head until this team gets a real owner and shuts them up.
Yeah. They'll continue to clamor for the Elway way of doing things. Yeah, I agree with that. So so this could be a very difficult game. This isn't the shoe-in that.
No.
I got just somebody texting me. I don't get it. Oh, 601. I see. I have a contractor. That was the contractor coming in. The guy, I'm doing this on my phone, so I get that and I don't think he's going to be able to make it today. So I'm sorry about that. So anyway, where were we? We were at, the Broncos being ahead, and this game they may have to come from behind and all this. This may be, how about the running game for the Denver Broncos? What do you see there?
I think that they can run on this defense just like they did with the Cowboys defense. The problem with that is they're going to have to be very creative on how they run the football, because this isn't going to be a defense where you can run straight at them like you did with the Cowboys defense. You got to be multidimensional when you run the football. And what I mean by that is you need to pull the guard, you need to run certain 8, you need to be able to be creative in your running techniques, not this, run straight at Fletcher Cox and Javon Hargrave and wishing your problems are solved. And that's one thing I'm very worried about, because Mike Shula is going to be the offensive coordinator this weekend. And he was the offensive coordinator for Cam Newton, I think in 2016, I believe. I don't know if that was North Turner or not, but I wasn't really impressed on what I saw from Mike Shula. He's kind of that Pat Shurmur type offense coordinator where he's very stubborn in his play calling.
Okay, but wait a minute. Do you think perhaps this is a game where unofficially Mike Munchak is the offensive coordinator?
I think, I think that could be true to some degree. I think Elway's still going to have him hold back on things that he wants to show out there. But if they are multidimensional in their running game, I'm going to be very excited for this Denver Broncos game, because they are giving Mike Munchak ability to call certain run gapping plays. And I don't think Mike Shula has the creativity to do that, unlike a Mike Munchak and a Rich Scangarello.
Now, are you going to hear any of these kind of conversations at Sports Talk Radio or those other online platforms?
No, I think what you're going to hear is all the requirements for COVID, and I just want to talk about that real quick.
Well, hold on a second. I will in a second. Just so I got one other thing I want to say.
Okay.
With regards to the offensive line. before we get into that, is that I hope that this offensive line had worked with Mike Munchak on that creativity that you're talking about. That maybe they have to do that more. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe hopefully that they have more of that drilled down than what Shermer is trying to do with these offensive linemen. Just a thought. Where do they stand in this knowledge base as far as being dynamic? So.
Well, I think where they stand when it comes to the knowledge base, I think Nate Moody and Quentin Miners have shown that they're better guards than Dalton Reisner and Graham Glasgow. I don't think this is a secret to anybody. If you really think that Graham Glasgow and Dalton Reisner are better than the two up-and-coming guards in the National Football League, you must be out of your mind and sipping that Kool-Aid. Just go back and watch what Quentin Miners was doing for that running game last week when they were running behind Cameron Fleming and Quentin Miners for that second half of the ball game. It was completely different from what you saw in the first half with Bobby Massey and Graham Glasgow and Dalton Reisner.
Well, the pass pro, they may be you're saying maybe exposed a little bit.
I agree with that, but I think Quentin Miners is a better pass pro guard than Nate Moody. I think Nate Moody's more of your road grader.
Yeah.
And same Quentin Miners. And I told everybody I love the Quentin Miners pick because I think that he can help bring a toughness to that offensive line that Dalton Reisner and Graham Glasgow do.
Absolutely, for sure. You can see that. There's no question about that. Now we go to the COVID clown show. It seems to be, I know you want to talk about it. Now, to me, it's just a microcosm of yet more failed policies by the powers that should not be authoritative. For them, they don't, it's fail for the average person and all of us, but for the power structure, it's a big win. It's, hey, we get rid of a few people. Well, that's their problem. But go ahead.
I'm really getting sick and tired of covering the NFL right now. They have taken something away that I really enjoyed in terms of politics in a sport that doesn't belong in a sport, in my opinion, and I think they've ruined football. I'm just getting really sick and tired of people's inability to understand that this COVID thing kills you, and that Bill Gates went out there and said that it doesn't work, and people are still taking shot after shot after shot. And they keep ridiculing Aaron Rodgers for, trying to protect his health and protect his body from this nonsense. And
go ahead.
Go ahead.
What we're seeing too, first of all, here's the problem. When I was a young lad, there was a rock band called U2, not to be mistaken for YouTube. YouTube, and there was a paraphrase in a song that says, "We live in a world where fact is fiction and TV is reality." And what we have now is we have athletes all over the world dropping dead, all of them with heart and clotting problems, and we have a bunch of cluelessness on the TV. Why don't get it? What's so different this year? Well, I think anybody with two brain cells can figure out what's different. And I would say Aaron Rodgers is probably more of a model that people should be looking at, as opposed to this clown show of, I guess people think they're injecting saline in them. What could possibly go wrong? It's saline. And the reality is starting to, as it always does, and here we go. This is now we're drug into this conversation about the pharmaceutical industry has always been their products. I call them their rattles and their beads, have always ended up screwing people over time. And there's lawsuits. Pfizer is the biggest. They're a criminal. They got a criminal track record. They're in the court system, paying out billions of dollars. Nothing ever happens to them. That's just the price of doing business. Could care less if you get killed or not. Doesn't matter to us. We'll just pay the fines. We'll continue business as usual. It's the same thing. So failed policies. Let's ignore things that work. We'll ignore that. Do you know that Cal Berkeley, their whole football team's out? and they're 100% vaccinated. They're all out. So, but this is the thing. And I don't understand it. People, they don't want to turn their TV off. I don't watch TV. Never. I used to work in it. I worked in television. I refuse to look at it. What I do is I'll go, like, for instance, to the vaccine manufacturers themselves. I look at their paperwork. Their paperwork clearly said that these shots do not cover transmission, and it doesn't cover you giving this to somebody else. That's why I've said I'm just not doing this, because you're basically asking me to jump out of an airplane. That's how much of the public good it does. Well, if you jump out of this airplane, we'll give you a parachute with holes in it, and it's for the public good. It makes about as much sense as that. So everybody turn their TV on. They listen to a bunch of bullshit, and now there's a lot of people are suffering all kinds of problems from it. Doesn't even work. Now they want you to just go on a conveyor belt of more and more. We see the NBA. Those of us that are in the know, we warned about this. Oh, they'll gaslight you when you warn people. Oh, it's conspiracy theory. Oh, that's just gaslighting. That's gaslighting. So, I mean, if you think what the manufacturers have to say is a conspiracy theory, trust your TV. Don't worry, it'll never let you down. I just, I don't get it. So it's frustrating. I wanted to start a minor league. I wanted to get really put together and get people together and actually put together a minor league. But I'm not going to do it in this COVID clown world until we all get our act together, tell these authoritarian types to shove it up their ass, get on with our lives, get business going again, and start putting a throttle on some of these authority types. But it's going to get worse before it gets better, because people have to get their ass handed to them. Historically, for thousands of years, it's the same thing. Oh, they would never hurt us. They would never hurt us. Oh, they friggin' hurt us. So we just got to go through this. It's historic. It's like Groundhog's Day. It just, every century or so, this just repeats itself. I guess that's my unofficial spew.
I think you explained it quite well. The last thing I'm going to say about it, because I just don't want to go into this, because it just pisses me off how people are so stupid in today's world.
Oh yeah.
So I always bring up this example, and if a doctor came to your house and wanted to put a needle into your kid, would you let him do it? And it wasn't a doctor, it was some type of like Bill Gates or somebody that you didn't know, and he's like, oh, this will help your kid from COVID. I think people would honestly get it, because they're bad, dumbed down, and stupid. I mean, that's an example.
Some guy dressed in a lab coat.
Yeah. I dressed
up in a lab coat.
Yeah, some guy dressed in a lab coat, and he comes to your front door and asks, hey, I got a new COVID shot. It's the 7th one. Because there's already 6. I've been trying to tell people that it's the 7th one, and I want to give it to your kid. Are you going to let him give it to your kid? I mean, this world and the people that live in it, and not all people, there's a minority of us that actually are trying to do the best we can. But in this COVID climate, we can't, because we're called conspiracy theorists. We get our shit taken off online. And that's why I don't have social media. That's why, because there's no point for me to try and go the only thing I can do is, the people that are that stupid to get the COVID shot are stupid. I mean, there's you can do. They're that stupid.
The reason we went off the rails on this is because the Broncos, one of the most highly vaccinated teams, is like, it's going, it's going
fucking COVID.
Yeah, it's going through the roof. I don't know if it's, who knows what it is. Is it pneumonia?
I think people love it. They love this vaccine. They love it. Give me more, give me more, give me more. People wear their masks out in public, want that Nazi mask all over them. They want to, hey, thank you, all that bullshit. And it pisses me off that people love it. And they attack people like you and me in the minority that have just a difference of opinion.
Strong minority that's growing. The fact that people are pissed off, because it's not working. They were told a bill of lies, as always. Well,
now, after your kids, and parents out there, I want to ask you this: do you really want to give this shot to your kids because it causes heart attacks, and you want your 5-year-old to die from a heart attack 6 months from now, 2 years from now, if
I-
you do kid, you are a terrible parent. I don't care. You are terrible at doing what you are supposed to do is protect your fucking kid.
Yeah, I don't get it either. It just, well, TV told me so. The TV wouldn't let all those people on there.
If TV told you to jump off a cliff, would you fucking do it?
Of course they would. TV told them to. TV told
Stupid.
The people on TV that, they love you. They love you. They love you so much.
Brian Stelter and fucking Anderson Cooper love you, and they're gang raping your ass.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. I tell people, I say, look, I don't need to know what I need to be afraid of this week. I mean, and I'm going to go back to the NFL because the NFL's been doing this shit, like pushing the war. They were pushing war, when they morphed Tom Brady into a soldier. I mean, this shit's been going on with the NFL for a long time. If the powers that shouldn't be want to throw kids in a meat grinder, the NFL will promote it as, with levying music, maybe throw Big Bird in there or something. So that's just that. Yeah, this is our times that we're living in right now. It's almost like eugenics on steroids. So I'm sure that your online buddies are just going to be doing this, waiting to go and flag us. So yeah, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying too about the NFL forcing. Well, take a look at. This Shermer being out is really what caused this too. This conversation. Yet another guy got shot up, and it's totally ineffective. So yeah, I've told you stories about people I know who've got the double jab, ended up in the hospital. Never was around anybody not vaccinated. They end up, on life support. Father gives her ivermectin. She doesn't want to take it because TV said not to take it. It was either that or go on the ventilator. And then it helped her. And then she was totally mind blown when she found out why she was recovering. Everybody else there got double jab too. But, and that's a personal story that I know for say. And then I told you that my sister was in the hospital, and what the nurses, she was a former nurse, what the nurses were telling her about the kids. They were totally scared to death giving this to kids, and they're not allowed to talk about it. So that's the world we live in today. It's just the bottom line. That's what it is. That's the revolution that won't be televised. They won't tell you what is really going on.
Oh, it's medical tyranny at its finest. It's martial law. They're bringing it in. So for all the people that follow the news outlets and that follow, the dumb social media, the dumb media that's funded by the billionaires that, fund all this bullshit. I'm just letting you know right now, they don't have your best interests at heart. They don't give a fuck about you. They want you all killed. And at the end of the day, if you want to jump off a cliff and kill yourself, if the TV told you to do it, you would all do it because you're that dumbed down and stupid.
Those people are. Yeah, those people are. And it's dangerous. It's some dangerous times. Like I said, I want to go back to this is that, I've said that I don't watch TV because I don't need to know what I need to be afraid of today. And listen to their bullshit solution to what they're telling me I need to be afraid of. The fear.
Vote for the next president.
Yeah. The fear of the week. The fear of the week. What's the fear of the week? There was a guy back in the day. There was a guy back in the day. He said, "There's nothing to fear but fear itself," and all the TV pumps out on a nonstop basis is fear. So I'm sure there'll be an event that'll happen, and they'll get it because a lot of people aren't even watching TV because they're sick of it. And I'm sure there'll be an event to reel everybody back in. Just saying. I'm not going to get into it, but you know how it works. You're not watching TV enough. Here's an event. Everybody watch. Like the 60s song, hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down.
It's not hard to go out of your house and get 30 minutes of sunlight a day. It's not hard to get ivermectin. It's not hard to get B12. It's not hard to get all these vitamins that will help you in terms of getting better on a day, getting hypermectin, stuff like that and helping you out. But, you just want to go to the doctor and listen to them because they're paid off and they'll put you on a ventilator. They'll kill you and they'll get paid for it.
He'll get paid big time for it.
Yeah, they'll get paid thousands of dollars for that, for killing your loved one. And you guys will be like, how he died, from a heart attack or from a plane crash?
Yeah. 22 years old. And yeah. I know. Can't figure it out. What changed this year? What's so different?
Get ready for the second lockdown now.
Yeah. Yeah. Great for the economy.
Yeah.
Well, that's why, like I said, that's why, I really wanted to start an actual minor league. I had, a whole plan to do this, but not until we can get the authority, a leash on these authoritative figures and start living our life again. So anyway, yeah, so I'm sure that one right there should get us a strike. So I want to thank you for your contribution to that. But I know. It's just, we just, me and you just
so scared.
You're starting to sound too much like Aaron Rodgers, But I told you, I said, I used him in particular. I said, I don't believe Tom Brady for a fact. I just don't believe it. I don't know, but I don't believe for anything that he got this thing because he's so particular about what he puts in his body. But we saw that if you were a walk-on, if you're 7th overall pick, 6th, that you were threatened. We know that because that came out with other players, Player Association, and they said this isn't right, And I'm sure that there were other players. We'll just kind of turn a blind eye to. That's a different story than Aaron Rodgers. That's going on. I mean, Congress doesn't have to take this thing. The judicial doesn't have to take this thing. They're all exempt. The executives all exempt from it.
The Pfizer people, the head honchos, they didn't take it because they think you're a dumbass, is what it is.
They came out and said, no, their own CEO said we're not going to take this. It's just, you can't make it up. But I got one for you. Hey, Captain Kirk, your Pfizer is set to kill. Better put it on stun. All right. Okay, let's get off of that because I'm sure this will give us a strike. Don't speak your mind, but like I said, I've been wanting to send this to BitChute anyway, because like I said, those people just ready to flag you. They're just waiting. So it may just come to a point where I'll disable the comments and we will just refer a link to BitChute, and anybody that wants to comment, you can comment there because there will be there's nobody to whine to. It's not going to work there.
Nope.
So anyway, that was our rant for the day. I think that was our rant for the year. I don't think we had a rant like that other than the Broncos sucking.
Well, I think our last good rant was the Bills. We lost to the Bills last year.
Yeah, Josh Allen.
Yep.
Yeah, well, that was a little bit more lighthearted than this one, but this is serious. This is a serious thing, and it needs to be discussed. And
if you want to spread the word, and if you come on this channel and you want to spread it. I want people to know that this shit doesn't work, and just you can look it up yourself and read it on the freaking shit on the Pfizer and all that bullshit. You can read it. It literally says it doesn't work.
Well, it says it's what they said, and what they said is that it doesn't stop, not even remotely stop the transmission or the receiving of it just is going to lower, and that's even contended too.
Lower even more.
Yeah, that's it. Well, the lower symptoms narrative is even been turned out to be not like they sold it to. But anyway, this isn't the medical channel right now. There's plenty. Here's the problem too. I'll just conclude with this. You have doctors on the side of this establishment and this terror thing that's going on, pumping it. Then you have a whole bunch of regular professionals that are getting shut down. So there's obviously a professional debate about this. We're obviously not scientists, but there are lots of scientists arguing about this. And the fact they're shutting one side off is all you need to know. When they start shutting one side off, obviously it must be a side of that's going to win the argument. the money and the control is shutting another side off. So I just basically call it the billionaire club who works for the trillionaire club. That's what we're all facing right now. And I know these people worship billionaires. Why? I don't know, because they don't give a damn about you. So that's just the reality of what we're working with now. Affecting people's jobs, affecting the economy. And we're kind of goose stepping into a papers, please, we haven't seen since maybe Stasi and Nazi Germany, So, but I just don't see that that's going to fly. I think it's grand thinking, but I think at the end of the day, too many people are just going to just add enough with it. I watched a great video coming out of New Zealand. The rugby team, the rugby players, the indigenous did a war dance. It was great. And I think that there's a lot of hope. I don't think we're as much a minority as you think that we are. I think there's a lot of people on the fence too that are coming more and more over. There's people getting injured by this thing coming over because they've got sold a bill of goods that, yeah. But yes, there is a big chunk of cluelessness out there. And like there always is, it's historic. It's nothing's changed in 1,000 years, thousands of years, really. The authorities get abusive and tyrannical. The section of the public still just believes that they care about them, and then they get put through a meat grinder. It's about every century, 2 centuries, you go through this thing. So I can't believe they really were like this. It's been like this for thousands of years, so it just doesn't end. So you can hate me, you can thumbs down me. It doesn't matter to me. You already know that.
I don't care.
We'll get off this. We'll We'll get into back to the game.
Yep.
Go
ahead.
Yeah. So what kind of do you think the Broncos will be in a dogfight with this one? It's not going to be the easy game they had last week.
No, they gave the Los Angeles Chargers a problem last week. That was a really good game to watch. It was a back and forth game, offensively and defensively. I want to bring up Draymond Jones because I think that this is, I'm labeled as the Draymond Jones hater, and I just want to say this. I liked your film study. I just have to disagree on the Draymond Jones point because
can you see me?
No, I can't.
Okay. Well, keep going with your point.
Okay. So what's the Draymond Jones thing? I don't think that if you had a DeForest Buckner, Fletcher Cox, or Eric Armstead, or a Aaron Donald that would elevate the play of Draymond Jones. I just don't think this guy is a good 3-4 defensive player. I don't think he's a good 3-4 defensive line player. I think that he overshoots his A and B gaps. I think that his technique is one of the worst I've ever seen outside of an Adam Gostis. And I think that I think it'd be the roles reversed. If they had a guy next to Shelby Harris, I think that would elevate Shelby Harris's game more than Draymond Jones' game.
Yeah. So
I don't think he's going to be. I think he's going to be a no-show in this game. I do not trust this defensive line, and it's funny how people came on here and said that how wrong we were at Draymond Jones, and for one game when he was going against a third-string guard, but Jonathan Cooper, in his first start, had one or two sacks, right? It was a difference maker than Draymond Jones, in my opinion. And Stephen Weatherly's been more of a difference maker than Draymond Jones has since he's gotten here. And Kenny Young.
Yes. Now, like I said, I only talk about what I see. Yes, there were a couple of double teams on him. Yes, he did get a couple pressures. But the overall body of work, and I agree, is just not there, even remotely, to be considered like the next coming of anything.
No.
Maybe if, like I just said, maybe he would be a lot better if he had better supporting cast, but he's a Robin if at best. He's not a Batman by any stretch.
Even a Robin. I think he's a third person on that D line. I don't even think he's a Robin. I think Shelby Harris
third person rotational.
I think that Shelby Harris is more of a Robin than Draymond Jones.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
I'll probably get thumbs down for that, but who cares? I don't care.
So overall, what do you see how this game's going to go?
Yes.
Tight.
I think it's going to come down to the end of the game. I think whoever has the ball last will win this game.
Okay.
I think that with the defense for the Eagles, they run a Tampa 2-4-3 defense. It's kind of a mixture of both, and they're very they play a lot of off coverage with Anthony Harris and a Darius Big Play Slay, which Darius Big Play Slay is a very good corner in this league, and Anthony Harris is a good free safety who they brought over from the Minnesota Vikings. So George Payton knows him very well. But like I said, you can run on this defense, and you need to run a lot of quick passes to attack their linebacking core because their linebacking core is not good at all. You need to run a lot of quick hitch routes, utilize Noah Fant, utilize Alberto in a correct way. In a correct way, and attack that linebacking core.
Yeah, just to show you how bankrupt again the sports talk radio is. They're defending that 2-yard drag route. They always put Noah Fant on, and they can't send him 6 yards up the field. I mean, we're talking 6 yards. I could see if it was, 3rd and long, and these, so hopefully you can bust out. But, if you're 6 yards or you're 3, why aren't you sending them to the sticks? You can't blame a guy for getting tackled by players who get paid to tackle. I said, it's just, isn't it easier just to send them up 6 yards and then do the 2-yard drag route? they just are fixated in every facet, it seems, to drum Noah Fant. And I'll agree, the guy can't block to save his life, but there was another guy who couldn't block. His name was Shannon Sharp. It just depends on how you want to utilize him.
I agree on that, but it's just one of those things where they have a good weapon in Noah Fant, and when Rich Scangarello was here, they utilized him in the correct way. He fits that offense, and they drummed out Rich Scangarello, and they drummed out Drew Lock, and they drummed out Andy Janovich. They drummed out. Now they're going to drum out Noah Fant, and it's funny how they use Alberto correctly, but they can't use Noah Fant correctly. So obviously,
I pointed that in the film study. Yeah.
There's favoritism when it comes to both of those players, and obviously the favoritism with that coaching staff and John Elway goes towards Alberto. I think Rich Scangarello drafted Noah Fant, and John Elway drafted Alberto. That's just the difference.
Yeah, and I'm getting sick and tired of hearing the is Elway meddling? Oh no, because they refuse to say what George Payton said about that first pick. So we know meddling. We know he's part of this offensive, but we also know what Sandy Clough alluded to. If you don't want to be blamed, get out completely. Don't hide behind onion layers. Yeah, get out completely. So you see a back and forth game that could go either way.
I think it's a back and forth game. I think if the Broncos come out sluggish, the Eagles can take advantage of that. It could go one or two ways. It could go what I just said, or it could be a close game. It's very hard for me to get a read on this team, but this Eagles team has a lot more personnel talent in the offensive line and in the way they use their skill position players. And I think the Cowboys did. I think the Cowboys just came off like they didn't want to play, and I think Prescott's hurt, and Hurts isn't hurt. Jalen Hurts is not hurt, and I think Hurts is going to be they're going to use him in a read option type way against this defense, because we have a soft defense. I don't care what people say. We have a soft ass defense, and I think they're going to come out running. I think they're going to try and test our linebacking core, and the defensive line for the Broncos, I think they're going to get pushed around. I really do.
Yeah, like they normally do. I've got something pressing, of course. Just can't get away from that. I am going to have to we'll have to drop this for now, and let's see if we get censored, for free thinking.
All right.
Yeah, for a difference of opinion. Yeah, that's the way it works.
That's the way life works now.
Yeah. So we'll see how this goes. Take care. Okay. Yep. Sorry, I gotta fly. So take care.
Well, are we gonna do a post game tomorrow night, or are you gonna be?
That's what I plan on. It'd probably be another late one where I'm like.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
All right. Take care. Yep.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.